Hey, turn that shit up, mate.
They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really drippin', leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really drippin', leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. Raw Molly got me all up in demon mode. Mouth moving like I done put clean in my nose. Tryna catch me a op, I can leave with some hoes. He standing straight up, watch I make him lean with this pole. Would've thought he was closed, how that heat made him fold. Thought it was a game, he won't think no more.
His brain's gone, nigga.
It be exciting when I get to striking. Guns sound like thunder, hit you like lightning. Fight for your life, we don't do no fighting.
We really hit it, nigga.
We worse than savage, they calling us Vikings. Police be riding, we still be sliding. Told you we hitters, remember the time. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really drippin', leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really drippin', leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. How about I leave them holding like the Bible? AR-15, that's a high-pound rifle. A in the army and assassinate rivals.
Break that shit down, nigga.
AK to anybody kill it. Hop out, get the drilling and spilling. Stay on point, 6-2 gon' split 'em. LPN, that's for any fuck nigga. You a plug, then I'm pulling up, nigga. You my lunch, eat these bullets for dinner.
5 cell, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
SK, smoke killer for show. Drum rounds and cripple ops, Draco. I got them all, you don't want none.
I got all those chicks, nigga.
They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really drippin', leave a nigga bleeding. I can just leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really drippin', leave a nigga bleeding. I can just squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding.
Hey, salute, everybody. Peace and blessings to all y'all. First off, let me shout out to Adam Hurley. Peace and blessings, King. You beat my guy in all things, peace and blessings. That whole boy, salute, peace and blessings. Coach Amber, peace and blessings. Aquaflex, salute, peace and blessings. Daryl Thigpen, peace and blessings. Ariana Queen, peace and blessings. All things, always the first one in, last one out. My God, peace and blessings. Brock Howard, peace and blessings. That whole boy, peace and blessings. Bullet Gibson, salute, peace and blessings. Homie, Darius Warren, peace and blessings. Coach Amber, salute, Queen, peace and blessings. Bullet Gibson, my guy, peace and blessings. I probably said some names twice. I don't know. You know. Well, peace and blessings to everybody. How y'all doing in here today? It's Friday. We chilling. We here. And hey, Key gonna be a little late today, but let me drop this link in case Coach Amber wanna hop up here. I know Bullet wanna get up here. He always wanna get up here when that talk come around that. But it's a narrative going out here right now that I wanna push first before I get into the Boots and Crawford thing, right? The narrative, Devin Haney has passed Floyd Mayweather getting the biggest guarantee, right? because he's getting a $6 million guarantee, supposedly, right? That's the narrative going around. Y'all all heard the narrative, right? And y'all know how there's certain channels that's pushing that, right? Well, I'm here to say right now, that's false. It's false. See, he has the chance to make up to $6 million. He's not getting $6 million guarantee. No, he's not. He has the chance. There she go. The narrative that the narrative that Devin Haney is getting $6 million this fight. He's getting guaranteed $6 million, and so he can make more than Floyd and Tank did at that age. Yeah, that was it. I'll wait till you get up here. But Nick J, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. See, what people fail to realize is he has a chance to make up to $6 million, depending on the pay-per-view sales. And like I said, I would love for him to get it. I love seeing my people get their money. I love people getting what they deserve instead of them fat cats that's sitting behind the scenes ain't do not one punch. Ones that ain't do not one punch. D-Free, salute, King, Original American, salute. And Nick J, salute to you, Queen. We're gonna get into it in a second. I'm gonna let Key do her introductions real quick. Go ahead, Key.
Oh, well, so shout out to everybody for being here. Shout out to you, Upper, for having this live stream today. Shout out to everybody that's here. Coach Amber, Bullet Gibson, all things as always. Ariana, shout out to you, Queen. Akaflex, Brock Howard, shout out to you. Is it Adarius Warren? Shout out to you, King, and that whole boy. Shout out to you. Jonathan Park, shout out to you, King. Thank you for pulling in. Original American, shout out to you. Boxing matchups with D-Free, shout out, salute to you, King. So thank you guys for all coming in. So go ahead, Upper, cook on it. Like I missed part of it.
Brian King, peace and blessings, King. And Jonathan Park, salute, brother. Peace and blessings, King. Zulu Line, salute, peace and blessings, King. And happy birthday tomorrow, bro. Y'all shout out Zulu Line, his birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Zulu.
Yeah. But yeah.
Upper, I think you went out.
To get a higher
Upper,
purse at his
rewind
age
it a little bit. You had
than
went out.
Gervonta Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather. Yes, he has the chance. But it's contingent on back end money. See, that $6 million is not guaranteed. He can make up to $6 million if the pay-per-view sales go right. And I'm not a hater. I want to see the young man get his money, but the zone, his pay-per-view is not good. I wish Devin would have came to somewhere like PBC or something where he can really get what he kills, where they really push the pay-per-view. Because if you notice, Canelo's pay-per-views don't even do good on the zone. I'm going to tell you like this. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. The zone was giving out the pay-per-view for $25 less than Showtime. They did 200K pay-per-view buys, while Showtime did between 1.2 and 1.4. So they did over 1 million pay-per-view buys, more than the zone, who was giving the pay-per-view out for $60, while PBC was charging $85.99. That should tell you something. But I hope he do well. I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna buy it for my brother. So that way, that's two of them right there. Because like I say, I buy all the fighters that go out there, and I encourage y'all to buy it too as well. We should support the people that's out here putting out good fights, and that's a good fight. That's a good step-up fight. Matter of fact, that's a good fight, period. Championship fight. But like I said, the zone, they have one of the worst pay-per-views ever. It buffers in the middle of it. I can't stand it. But you got another one up there, Key?
Yeah.
I see you, Aunt McCrean, can't spell Hearn without earn. Yeah, Coach Amber, but the subscription was only $20. So it still was less. But I thought you could just buy the pay-per-view without the prescription. You can buy the Zone's pay-per-view without prescription. Because I'm about to do it this time. Because I'm not paying for the subscription. I'm just buying the pay-per-view. That's all I want. And I was told that you can buy it without the prescription. I think KQ told me that because he got it. But I was asking, does anybody know if you can get the Zone pay-per-view without the prescription? Because I heard you can do it without the subscription. Thank Luke Kane. Peace and blessings, King. If anybody knows about the Zone, let me know. Because I would hate to have them for a whole extra month. But if I do, because they got me one time, I wanted to cancel my subscription. Because it's go check boxing scene. Oh, you can't be free. Oh man. Nick J is out there. That's the contract. They said up to even his dad said he has a chance to get up to 6 million. But you can go look it up. Because I look up so much stuff. I can pull it back up and send it to I'll send it to you on Instagram, Nick J. I gotta go back and pull it up because I got a lot of stuff I pulled up. That's all I do. Especially when you laying in the bed all day. Just do. Peace and blessings, King. Salute. Yeah, Dank Luke Kane. That's why I said I didn't want to exactly, Dank. That's why I didn't want to subscribe to it. Upper echelon, peace and blessings, King. I mean, I'm KQKC, peace and blessings, King. I'm glad you stopped through, big guy. But yeah, Dank Luke Kane. That's why I didn't want to subscribe back to the Zone because they hit you for an extra month as well. That's why I didn't want to do it. But I mean, to support the fight, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, like I was saying. Oh, okay. But like I was saying, Devin Haney does have a chance to make up to 6 million, but he ain't got a 6 million guarantee. Nah, that's not it. But like I said, hopefully he does well on pay-per-view so he can get that. But it's a long shot. But you know, all we do is root for him. But yeah. Terrence Crawford, right? Oh well, you guys say anything on that, Key?
No, Bullet, did you want to say anything, King?
Yeah, I had to come up here and make a couple people mad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe first off, salute to, upper echelon and Key Alexandra for allowing me to jump up here. Salute to the chat. But my only thought process is if it's guaranteed or not, it don't even matter. He making the
Oh no,
best fights.
I ain't
No,
saying
no,
that.
I'm not talking to you. Like I said, I'm making other people mad right now. I ain't talking about you specific. I'm just saying, regardless of what it is, the man making the best fights. He making moves, getting money, you know what I'm saying, and making it happen. So I had to jump up here and say it, because people will be talking crazy in the chats and hating on the young king Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying?
Let me play devil's advocate for a second, right? But first off,
Mm-hmm.
he got less than 100 left, Dank Luke Kane, less than 100 tickets left. But Dank Luke Kane, I mean not Dank Luke Kane, Willett. Can we also say that Shakur's making the best fights too? Because right now, Shakur fighting Edwin De Los Santos, but he went down the list. He went down from Loma. He went all the way down, and he even went to Frank Martin. Frank Martin pulled out, and Frank Martin, my guy. But I already know what Frank Martin do. See, what people fail to realize, they call him Frank Martin a duck, but no, he made a business decision. See, Frank Martin was never in line to go for the WBC. Frank Martin, his whole career, he's been lining up to try to fight Tank. He's been in the WBA. He's been fighting all the WBA mandatories. He even went for the number one contender, the mandatory for Tank, which was Michelle Rivera. So they tried to pull Frank Martin out the WBA rankings and put him over there with the WBC. And Frank was going to entertain it, but it wasn't enough money for him. So he said, nah. Because if you think about it, losing, I'm not saying he's going to lose, but a fight with Tank and a fight with Shakur, which one would y'all choose? I mean, both of them 50-50 fighters between, not Frank ain't 50-50 with him, but Shakur and Tank are basically on the same level, but Tank can put you to sleep, right? But if you lose the Tank, if we looked at the Tank's last 6 opponents, all of them did, all of their careers have took off. All of them did a lot better since they lost the Tank. I mean, Isaac Cruz, this man's been fighting cab drivers. He lost to a one-handed Tank, and they call him the Mexican Mike Tyson. You feel what I'm saying? Rolly Romero get a belt his next fight. Barrio's next fight, he get a title interim shot, lost that, then end up
Upper, you went out.
I thought that was
but
me.
when you lose the Tank, you get a bag
Upper,
and your
upper.
visibility
Hey,
goes
you
up.
went out.
You
When
went
people
You went
out.
lose to
out. We couldn't
Shakur, I
hear you.
mean, you're not really making a bag
Think
fighting
you can
Shakur
hear
for
us.
one. Huh?
I
We
said
couldn't hear you. You went out.
you went out.
Oh, okay, my bad. When you fight against Shakur, you really don't get a bag. You don't really get a bag, and your notoriety really doesn't go up. It's like you gain so much losing against Tank. You get a bag and you get notoriety. With Shakur, I mean, he was only getting 1 million, but like they say, it was 4 times his original amount. And yes, it was 4 times of his most payday, which is 250. But what they don't consider is Frank was gonna get 1 million, while Shakur was gonna get 5 million. And see, people don't add in consideration that because certain fighters are fighting each other, that brings a different dynamic of money to a fight. Like, because Shakur was fighting Frank, that brought a whole different pay scale. It pushed it up a different pay grade. And Frank wasn't going for that. And Shakur, he tried to realize, like, look, you would have never made 5 million if you wasn't fighting Frank. And that's another thing. If Shakur would have fought Devin, that would have been a whole different pay grade as well, because the pay-per-view numbers would have been astronomical. So I'm gonna tell you, Shakur and Devin right now do over 300K pay-per-view. I'm just letting you know now. That does over 300K pay-per-view, and that's right now. And Shakur said he wasn't about to take 25% of that right there. And I wouldn't either, because that's like me bringing my people to the party and you bring your people. And if me and you brought just about the same amount of people, why am I going to take one fourth while you taking 3/4? And I mean, I understand it. So he gonna push his level up more. But like I was saying, Frank Martin's always been in the WBA line, so he wanted to stay there and stay trying to pursue the Tank fight, and that's what that was right there. But like I said, Shakur's still fighting the best. So the next one up was Edwin De Los Santos. And even Richardson Hitchison, the African, he sat there and said, it's a hard fight for Shakur right here. He said De Los Santos does things that he ain't seen before. Also, he said that De Los Santos is hitting harder than Zapata. And Zapata is a 140-pound knockout artist. The man hits hard. They say he one of the hardest hitters at 140. And the African fought him with 8-ounce gloves. He fought De Los Santos with 16-ounce. So in my opinion, De Los Santos probably cracking harder because he had double the pad. But yeah, you want to go ahead, Key or Coach Amber, one of y'all?
Go ahead, Coach Amber. Welcome, Queen. Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome, Queen.
Salute to the chat.
Exactly original.
Happy
But
early
Frank
birthday,
got what he asked
Julie
for.
Lion.
See, Frank didn't know it was in the pot. And see, that's where a lot of fighters mess up at. They'll ask for a flat fee or they'll take it. That's just like when Shakur went against Jamil Herring. They asked Jamil Herring what he wanted. And he told him exactly what he wanted. But see, he didn't check to see what was in the pot. Now, it's not up to me to tell you what's in the pot. You tell me what you want, you get it. You can't complain, really.
Go ahead, Coach Amber.
No, I just salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. Um, I don't like getting in on the whole love hate triangle because I really don't have a dog in that fight. I mean, other than Frank, I do like Frank. Um, I mean, I like all of them, but it's yeah, I just don't like getting dragged into that. And I did see somebody say something like, "Oh, well, people only like Frank because of Earl." That's that. First of all, that's not true. The dude's truly athletic, but he also the reason he ended up in Dallas is because his cousin plays for the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't want to hear nothing about the boys. They on my shit list right now. I don't want to hear nothing about that. But when you are a Cowboy, your cousin is our cousin. So I hopped on because I want to talk about Boots and Bud. This whole other stuff, I'm not getting dragged into.
Just do. You talking about Zapata at 135. I'm talking about Zapata at 140 that beats Baranchek, bro. He sparred with Zapata that beats Baranchek. That's who with Richard Hitchison sparred with. I mean, no, that's who Richard Hitchison beat. Remember, Hitchison just beat Zapata, bro. Yeah,
Correct.
I wouldn't talk about William Zapata. Seth M, peace and blessings, salute.
Correct. To be honest with you, this whole listen, get paid. We already know how these promoters get down. I feel as though if any boxer can find an edge to where they're able to become lucrative out the deal, we also have to remember that these boxers don't, these promotional companies and like Top Rank and all of that, it's healthcare is not is a non-existent. They don't pay into healthcare. They don't pay into legal. They don't pay into all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So again, one hit when you get in the ring, one hit can change your neurology. One hit can change, can be physically debilitating to where you may not walk the same again. A concussion by the time you're 40, you can get the shaking, end up with Parkinson, early onset dementia. I mean, these boxers are putting themselves into a lot of risk getting into that ring. That's why I don't disrespect them. I don't say trash fighters, bum fighters. They deserve a lot more respect than that. Um, so whenever I hear any fighters being able to crack over 1 million, I mean, Derek James said it best. Like 99.9% of these fighters aren't able to feed themselves. They got second jobs on the side, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's Devin, whether it's Shakur, whether it's Frank Martin, whether it's Tank, whether it's Bud Crawford, Earl Spence, Zapata, Arthur Beterbiev, I don't care who it is. If you're making the money that you want to make, that you're able to provide for your family and provide for medical care and nutritionists and everything else, I have no issues with that, man, because you best believe that while they're getting that, if let's say that the it is true up to 6 million or he is getting 6 million, best believe that's a penny compared to what Eddie Hearn and the rest of them boys are making. And they don't got to get in the ring. All they got to do is say your name and put a fight together. I mean,
That's what I'm talking about.
there's other logistics that's involved in it, but I'm just saying though, you know what I'm saying? The people that are that are putting on the show is getting paid more compared to the people that is actually fighting. So if you're able to crack that 1 million or above, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, man, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because best believe, win or lose, whether Devin wins, lose, Shakur win or lose, these promotional companies ain't going nowhere. This sport is bigger than all the boxers, and they're gonna in this management they're still gonna get paid regardless. So that's where I'm at with it. I could care less. Yes, we know Eddie Hearn be capping. Y'all know how I feel about Bill and his narratives. Y'all know how I feel about Shakur and his narratives. I call it straight down the middle because, again, I'm a fan of boxing first. But when it comes to money, man, if Devin could walk away with 6 and Regis could walk away with 3 or 2.8, hey, Regis that is vindicated. So you know what I'm saying? In my
You went
opinion,
out
they
for a
already
second.
winners.
You went out
The
for a
way that
second.
the sport is, they're already winners. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. But that's what I was saying. Like them big cats, the ones that sit behind the scene, they the ones that get all the money. And see,
Upper.
that's why people hate the PBC because see the PBC, they make where the fighters are starting to get like my man in the chat room. They're just due. You feel me? And y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Just Do if you're not. But yeah, them they make, and that's why the promoters and stuff started trying to sue Al Heyman because the fighters was getting less than 5% of the gross, everything coming in. Now with Al Heyman, the fighters are getting over 70%, and now they're able to live and feed themselves. Crush the Legend, peace and blessings. Welcome, homie. OTB, peace and blessings, King. Welcome to the chat. Mike Rhythm, peace and blessings, welcome. Marquis, peace and blessings, welcome to the chat. And yeah, that's what we got to talk about. Like, we need to support our fighters getting the money, period. Because like I said, England fighters, their whole country support all their fighters. Mexicans support all their fighters. We need to support our fighters as well. Because our fighters are there for us, and that's what they're here. Y'all gotta realize people have families. And like I've told y'all before with the schematics, 99.2% of all fighters never make $1 million in a fight. PGB Big Dog, salute. Hey, Asante L, salute, King. Peace and blessings. But yeah, so when a fighter's able to get their money, it's good for them to be able to get their money though. But
I
Coach,
think the only thing that I will say, is free. And I was saying, I'm sorry, I had a phone call come in, so that's why my thing went out. But I feel as though they're already all winners if they're making, if Devin is to make up to 6 million, and you know, even if Regis make 2.83 million, man, they all winners in my book. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to see this happen with these fighters. But one thing that I will say is that is disheartening to hear stories where we got to put these fighters against each other. Listen, I get it. I get the hit that's going out. I see the smear campaigns. I'm in marketing. So I see all the stuff that's being painted. I only speak on these things because I know these things. And there's nothing wrong with giving Devin his flowers for making the best fights and getting the money, but you don't have to throw Floyd and Tank up in us. See, that's where, and it's done for clicks and views, in my humble opinion, and it's also done to, you know what I'm saying, to big that fighter up, but you don't have to do that while putting other fighters, you know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? At the end of the day, is any of them billionaires like Floyd? No. So that's a mute point. Like, who cares about that type of stuff? You know what I'm saying? To say, oh, well, he's making more than Tank did at 24. Y'all don't know what Tank was really making at 24, because I know that the man been making 10 million plus fight before the Ryan Garcia. None of us truly actually knows Tank Davis's net worth. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm pretty sure he does that on purpose. But to try to put all that stuff against, and y'all could just leave it at Devin is making 6 million at 24 years old. You know what? He's making more money than 85% of boxers, 90% of boxers right now. Leave it there. But stop doing that whole, oh, well, he's doing this because of, that's why I try not to get into that resume talk. Because to be technically honest with y'all, they fighting the same type of fighters. I told y'all this. Like, y'all keep saying, oh, fight the best, fight the best. Shakur, Tank, and Devin are the best in the 135 and 140 divisions. How many times I got to tell y'all that? Devin is coming in a 4-1 favorite over Regis. Why isn't anyone talking about that? He's a 4-1 favorite.
over the champ.
Nobody has Regis winning this fight. Unfortunately, I think Regis is a good fighter.
Salute, Zayna.
Y'all gotta stop this whole, just keep it at the Devin's accomplishments. Don't try to make his accomplishments overshadow other fighters, because at the same time they all fighting the same fighters that y'all make fun of Shakur and Tank for fighting flat-footed fighters. You know what I'm saying? Don't really have, none of them besides Tank have been in 50-50 fights. Devin has been a favorite. Shakur has been a favorite. Out of Tank was not the favorite in Leo and Pedraza's fight. Like, so we got to stop this. Like, we definitely got to stop this. I'm giving, I always give Dev his flowers. Everybody can say that unless y'all come up here with them Avengers and narratives. But we got to stop this whole just his accomplishments overshadowing other people. Like, it's not that serious. They all fighting the same type of level of competition, in my humble opinion. But go ahead.
And yes, to allude to your point, Devin is making more than 99.5% of all fighters. He's making more than 99.5 because, like I said before, 99.2 don't ever receive $1 million in a fight. Actually, Regis Progress at the end of his career, just about. This is his first fight receiving $1 million, over $1 million, or close to $1 million in a fight. This man has been champion for a minute, but never received that. So that should tell you something. But yeah. So are we done? Y'all ready to go to the Crawford situation?
I am because I got some. I think my viewpoint is gonna be a little different than everybody on this panel. Again, salute to King Bullet and the Coach Amber and Upper man. Let's get it cooking with this Bud Crawford and
Okay.
let's
I'm gonna open it with this, and then I'm gonna let it go to y'all, and then I'm gonna come out after y'all. But I'm gonna open it with this. I'm gonna tell you now, Crawford, if he's not fighting Spence, he can't give me that point that it's a low risk, low reward versus Boots no more. So if he doesn't fight Spence, he needs to fight Boots, and there's nothing around that. People say it's still a low risk. The Crawford fans say it's a low risk, low reward. Actually, it's a high risk, high reward now. Because now, if Crawford actually goes back and fights Jerron Boots Ennis, it'd be for 3 times undisputed. The same thing he wanted to do if he go up and fight Canelo. Canelo told him he wasn't going to do it. Crawford said he wants to make 3 times undisputed. So if you don't fight Earl Spence, go fight Jerron Ennis to get your 3 times undisputed. If not, then you know what that means. It means you ducking and you didn't want it. Unless you move up to 154. And there's nothing around that. But I'm going to cook some more on it. But I'm going to let them go first. Go ahead.
Coach Amber, I know you got a lot to say, Queen. Go ahead, Coach. I'm here. I'm curious to see what you got to say, Queen.
You you know I'm not a fan of Bud, but I cannot believe that I might be coming to his defense. The only problem with Bud and his ego, he can't get out of his own way. Once I saw that he was stripped, in my mind, I'm like, they stripped him because he's going up to 154. They're most likely going to rematch at 154. I don't know why I'm seeing like some people shocked. Like we just went through this with Haney. We just went through this with Charlo. The only person we don't really see this with is Canelo. But yeah, if you were undisputed and you happen to go up, or if you have a rematch clause, you and didn't they do that to Taylor too? Like, well, I'm not too sure about Taylor, but you risk losing one of your belts because they go in rotation. And when when I saw that he got stripped, my first thought was they're doing it at 154, which I'm happy about. And then supposedly Bud came out, well, his team came out and said, we didn't get stripped, we dropped it. And my first thought was like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Because now people are gonna be like, oh, well, you dropped it to avoid boost, therefore you ducked. Like, oh my gosh, like Bud, you cannot get out of your own way. You cannot get out of your own way. If he played his cards right, rematch Spence at 154, regardless of the outcome, if he can go back down to 47, fight Boots Ennis, and if he wins, he'll be 3-time undisputed, which is crazy. But the man and his ego, he just can't get out of his own way. I was like, why did you say that? And I'm not even a Bud fan, but yeah, go ahead.
Bullet, what you got to cook on, King?
All right, I'm gonna say this because I'm a Earl fan. I like Earl Spence, so I felt like Bud ducked Earl when he went to fight Avanesian. That being said, when he went to fight Avanesian, it could have been Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis team declined to fight. I like Boots. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to come up here and don't, because I know people gonna think I'm hating on Boots. No, I like Boots. I think Boots can possibly beat Bud. Bud a bad motherfucker though. But Boots and his team declined to fight. He had an opportunity to fight Bud for the belt. He didn't take it. Bud getting stripped. At first, I would be like, it's unfair. I feel like it's unfair. But because of what happened to Charlo and Devin, KO made it be known to me, he's stressing, realistically speaking, you can't hold up these divisions. You can't. No matter how much we like these fighters, you can't. So Bud getting stripped, I understand. But for people saying Bud ducked or ducking or something like that, that's crazy talk. Bud has proven that this nigga is the truth. The man is the truth. He will fight good fights. I think, you know what I'm saying? I do feel like he ducked Earl, but he fought him and he beat him. You know what I'm saying? And fighting Boots, I know Up saying 3-time undisputed. At this point in his career, he don't have to fight Boots. He don't have to. That's the thing that I'm trying to stress. He don't have to fight this man. I know y'all gonna be like, oh, he need to fight him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some of y'all want to take this as a personal victory because he beat Earl. Y'all can look at it like that, but nah, he don't have to fight that man. He can go up, try to fight Canelo, a better legacy fight, or try to fight Charlo, another legacy fight. After he fight Earl. That's where I'm standing at right now because I know guys want to hound on, but I feel like if I keep doing this, essentially I just be hating on this man. He don't
Uh,
have to fight Boots right now. I'm just saying for me, my perspective.
all right, let me say one thing about that. First off, it wasn't a real offer. Boots and his people told him to go talk to Showtime about it, and they never did. Because the guy that came to them went to BLK Prime. They asked Bud Crawford, would he be willing to fight a Boots fight? Bud told him, yeah. And then they went to Boots, and he said, yeah, but you need to go talk to Steven Espinosa, who Boots was signed with. They never got back to Steven Espinosa, so it didn't happen. So we can't sit there and say Boots duck nothing. He said he'd fight that man in his living room, and he meant that. But after that, he went to the Earl fight because Earl was paying off bigger dividends, because that was 3 belts. He had to try to go for one of them belts, and that's what he did. But go ahead, Keith.
So this is why timelines matter. And I agree with what everybody is saying. I done sat back for the past 24 hours analyzing some things. I went to the source, somebody that closely knows.
Oh yeah,
Um,
one more second before you start cooking,
okay.
Keith.
Okay.
And people sitting there talking about the Earl rematch. I didn't forget about the Earl rematch. Whether he win, lose, or draw versus Earl, he still has 3 belts down there. He can still go fight Boots after the Earl. I wasn't saying fight Boots now. Fight him after the Earl.
Thank you. And be 3-time. 3-time. Because that would make him 3-time, right?
Yeah. But I feel,
Oh,
that's
The
why I
same
said
Clarissa did. It's the same way Clarissa did it. But go ahead.
I feel, and that's why I said I agree with everyone on the panel because Bullet did make a really good point. Now this is how and Coach Amber and Upper, but this is where timelines matter, and we get see the thing is, as I've been analyzing this for the past 24 hours, trying to come up with timelines and dates and trying to figure out how did this happen. Because at first, when I heard that the IBF stripped him, I too felt like, I'm not sure about that. The man had the belt for 3 months, but I had to do my homework. And I want to take this time to give YSM Sports Media his flowers because he laid out a lot last night that I was listening to. And prior to me listening to him, I caught him towards the tail end. So I had to go back and do the replay. And I was up late last night working on this. And a lot of my timeline, it matched up, but it didn't. And I just want to say the first person that held that, is that me? Oh, the first person that held the IBF was Spence, right? So we can all agree that Spence, it was a lot of things happening. First, we had the accident, then we had the eye, then people that they were supposed to be the mandatories for the IBF, the interim, ended up getting beat. You know what I'm saying? Upsets and everything else. So then we move into the negotiations of what occurred. Now, from my understanding, okay, I'm not sure this could be, but I'm getting it from the source himself, YSM, who's in Boise, who goes to Boise in this camp all the time. And this is why I stand on a position that neither Boots nor Bud ducked each other. Now, from my understanding, with the negotiations that was going on with Earl, yes, there were options on the table for BLK Prime, and um, with the David fight, and Bud went to that fight. Now the notion that Boots was supposed to fight him on BLK Prime, that didn't come until January, because if you guys recall, on last year, Bud did a Instagram video where he said somebody had asked him about Boots, and he said That person never came across my desk. Boots never came across my desk because he hadn't at that time. So a lot of people are going around saying, oh, Bud had the option to fight David Avanesian or Boots, and Boots pulled out. No, Boots wasn't brought up until this year. So that's false. And then when they did decide to reach out, because again, Bud, like a good business person, you explore your options. I'm not knocking Bud for that. That's why I don't feel like neither one of them ducked. Because Earl Spence, with these negotiations that was going on, it was getting crazy, as we all have heard. And so that is correct. Bozy said for them to talk to Espinoza. What is Espinoza in previous to being the CEO of PBC? He's a lawyer, right? So Espinoza was in contact
No,
with
it's also Showtime. He's the
I mean,
Showtime
with Showtime,
director.
yes. Showtime, thank you. So Espinoza was in contact with Bud and his team regarding the negotiations. What happened was BLK Prime wanted the fight for Boots and Bud to be on BLK Prime. But Espinoza was like, yo, we got Showtime. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we need y'all for? Which I get it, because the numbers had came out about BLK Prime and David Avanesian and Bud Crawford, and that was a dud. We can all agree on that. So I feel Espinoza. No, we are the conglomerate. No, it's coming over here. Another issue was dates, because BLK Prime wanted the fight to happen in March, whereas Steven Espinoza stood on June. Now, why is that important? Because what fight happened in April that turned out to be a blockbuster? Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. They were already pouring their resources into that fight. We can all agree to that, because it did 1.4 million. You see what I'm saying? So I understand Steven Espinoza's position, but then so there was a tug of war basically regarding that. And then what ended up happening was Earl ended up giving in to a lot of Bud requests. And would you take a $25 million check, or would you take a $5 million check? Because Steven Espinoza has already been on record saying he will pay $10 million for this fight, for Boots versus Bud. So for people to say that, Boots is a low risk, low reward, that's not true. You still gonna get some meals, because it's our, and I really wish, and I understand why Boots doesn't do this. Boots doesn't, and his team don't broadcast the people that duck him. They are actually asking they're actually asking fighters, giving them more money than their asking price to fight Boots. Yes, Boots is being ducked like that. And they say no. Case in point, Cody Crowley. That just happened. Okay, he was supposed to be fighting, them two were supposed to be fighting on the Benavidez card, but Cody Crowley pulled out that at the last minute. And they offered him a great bag, from my
No, no,
understanding.
no, no. I thought I thought the Cody Crowley Cody Crowley put out from Boots last year. They were supposed
No,
to.
it just happened recently. It
Well,
just happened
last year,
recently.
last year he said he wanted $7 million to fight Boots.
And they
Um,
were going to give him. That's what I'm saying. He was supposed. Fights just broke down with Cody Crowley again about 2 weeks ago.
oh, again? I thought he retired.
Again,
I thought he
no,
had
he did
retired.
retire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That just came out.
Yeah, he just ducked him again. He's saying no, but okay, I'm gonna get to that. But so basically, Bud made a business decision to say 25 million versus the $10 million split that or the $10 million purse that Espinoza was gonna put up. Bud chose the 25 million because he got everything that he asked for with Spence. So neither one of them ducked, to be honest with you. It was just long drawn out negotiations. It's the business politics that we continue to tell y'all about that happens behind the scenes. So for this notion that both fighters are ducking, it's not that. Bud chose 25 million over the 10 million. That's pretty much how it sums up. You know what I'm saying? Now moving forward, with the IBF stripping them, as I said when I started this, Spence held that belt for a long time. When you get all these belts, you are told what the rules are, you have to fight these mandatories. Now, Spence had some unfortunate events occur. That's why he was unable to do a lot of that stuff. But when he got it, when this year rolled around, everybody knew, including Spence and Bud, that whoever, since because the IBIF gave them a timeline, like, okay, we'll extend this. because we know that y'all are in active negotiations. But once this is won, you know what I'm saying? You got to fight. Now, this is where, in my opinion, Bud put his foot in his mouth, because days after the fight, when he was on Joe Rogan, when he was on $1 million worth of game, what was he saying, y'all? He was saying Boots is a high risk, low reward, and he does not want to fight him. So for people saying, well, Boots should have been calling him out then, that happened within 72 hours or within that week. Why would I want to talk to that man and he just told me how he feel about me? That's number one. Number two, who after that, after he said that the following week, what was Bud saying? Canelo, Charlo, are they in 147? No. So what? So why, if I'm Boots and I'm in Boots' team, why would I actively be pursuing anything? And he's already letting me know I'm looking at 154, 160, 168. And now what not? And then 3 weeks later, or about 3 weeks later, after the Spence rematch is announced, because remember, Spence waited until the very last business day to reactivate that. Then what happened? Bud said, I don't want to rematch Spence. I want Canelo. I want to fight Canelo at 168. Those are the facts. So how is Boots ducking anybody when within the same week of that fight, Bud was singing a different tune? So we got to give leeway here. I don't believe either one of them ducked. I believe it's business, it's politics as usual. You know what I'm saying? And Bud put his foot in his mouth. Now, I disagree. I understand that Bud can be a 3-time undisputed champion. But I feel as though if he fights Spence at anything other than 147, if I was Bud, I would not go back down. I would keep going up. That's where I stand with it. I get it. I know everybody want to see the fight, but I just feel as though it's low hanging fruit right now, because at the end of the day, whether you got Bud winning, whether you got Boots winning, one thing that I know for sure, Boots is a young animal. And let me tell y'all something. Bud walking that ring with Boots, even if he gets the victory, I bet you Boots will take years off that man's life.
He gonna take some skin off of him.
That's a guarantee, because Boots ain't no walk in the park for nobody. So if I'm Bud, I'm not even looking at Boots. He's doing exactly right. Go your behind up. Go your behind up to 154, 160, 168, wherever you want to go, get the big money fights. But then also, Bud, I do want to make it clear though, you just set a precedence as well. Because now that you are saying that you've been yelling from the rooftop that this young brother is a low risk, low or high risk, low reward, I want you to know that you just set the precedence for how Canelo is going to look at you if you were to get that price, if you were to get that fight. Because if I'm Canelo and his team, I'm saying, who the fuck is Bud Crawford?
That's what they said. They said they're not going to fight him.
And I'm gonna land my plane there. Go ahead, y'all.
Okay, first off, Canelo already said he's not fighting him. The only way Crawford gonna get a Canelo fight, he's gonna have to come up to 168 and beat somebody. Now we just seen Jermell Charlo, who is a big puncher at 154. He couldn't hit that man and hurt that man. And on that Crawford duck and boot situation, I'm gonna go ahead and break it down all the way. Crawford didn't duck Boots, and I'm gonna explain to y'all why. It was real simple. But you know, a lot of people going with the narrative and everything. Crawford couldn't duck Boots. All right, it was already said before the undisputed fight. Bozy Ennis already laid it out. They already said that after the undisputed fight, Boots was going to become IBF champion, because the IBF said if they go into a rematch, that they was going to strip and take the belt. And they already said that. He said if Earl was to beat Crawford and become undisputed, he said if he didn't fight Boots immediately, they said that they wouldn't be another undisputed fight because they was going to strip Earl, or the other way around. And people forget about that. So Boots was already going to be the champion regardless, unless they was going to have a wait on the undisputed fight. So they waited to see if the undisputed fight was going to happen. And that was the only way that IBF wasn't going to get stripped. They had already had it planned. It had been in the talks Boots had been a mandatory for over 2 years, well, over a year and some change. He done fought like 3 eliminators. But exactly, Marquis, is facts. So I'm just, over here we like to bump the narratives. We like to bump the narratives. Me, Key, and y'all in chat, y'all great chat here. Y'all the best chat out there. But like I said, neither one ducked anyone. Bozy Ennis laid out the timeline. Before the Undisputed fight, they went ahead and let IBF was good gracious enough to let IBF go. Because they could have made Earl fight Boots then. But they let it go because if you remember, Earl had been sitting out waiting on Bud for over 18 months, just about. Yes, Marquis. Castillo Clayton was the first fight for the IBF. But then, then it was that Karen Kukadashian fight. So, and then when he finally just did this with the Vila, they made him the first. Boots was the second interim IBF champion in history. And the first one was because the champion was hurt. So, IBF, they don't play that right there. They did it because of Spence. And they already let it know that after the Undisputed fight, IBF was going to have to get the mandatory fight in before they made the second fight, or they was going to be stripped. And that's what happened.
Facts, Upper, facts. And I just think that we doing a dishearten again, like because at the end of the day, the Bud Yardigans, okay, I understand. You feel me? I just want to let y'all know that when Bud Crawford retires, there's other boxers out there. This sport does not end because of a Bud Crawford, y'all. We gotta stop this notion that, you know what I'm saying, that fighters should be doing. They didn't have a right to do this. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I felt a certain type of way because the man only held the belt for a couple months. But at the same time, both him and Spence knew that the person that was waiting in the line was Boots. They always knew that. They always knew that the IBF already told them that y'all got a time limit on this belt. And to be honest with y'all, I want the same energy for Canelo. I want the same energy for the Charlo. I want the same energy for everyone. Devin too. Bullet, no disrespect. Because it's
Shout
time.
out to my guy. Hold on one second, Key. Shout out to my guy, Black All Day. Appreciate y'all. How does Regis beat Haney? After Key finished, I give you Regis's keys to victory. Go ahead, Key.
Okay, but I get it. I want these belts because you know what? At the end of the day, y'all are holding up a division. Spence and Crawford negotiations went on too long. And I'm gonna keep it 105 with you. And I think the only other person I heard saying this was Zena. Shout out to Zena from the chat. If Spence and Crawford would have had that fight last year, it would have done what Ryan and Tank would have just did because the momentum was there. They killed this fight. Technically.
They overcooked it.
They kind of killed it. They killed the momentum.
If they would have had that fight,
Who killed it? Who killed it?
I would say, you know what? I call it straight down the middle. I call it straight down the middle. I'm gonna agree on that one. I'm agree with everybody on the panel. Bud killed that fight. I'm
that David Aronesian.
Yeah, Bud kind of
He killed it with that Aronesian in less than 10 and 6,000 pay-per-view buys. That's what killed it. And see, they could have been a lot. And see, Bud, he don't realize how much money they could have made if he would have went ahead and took that fight over the summer, or they was gonna make it on the anniversary of Sugar Ray and Tommy Hearns Undisputed. You know what that would have did with that? But no.
Can I talk out of turn?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can I talk out of turn?
I said, go ahead.
All this, like, I respect Bud. I mean, I do respect him, even though like I've been adamant that I'm not a fan, but he never trusted the model, and if he would have had good people around him to explain to him the model, like this could have went forward a long time ago. I mean, Oh my goodness! Like if this would have happened last year, it would have done the numbers it should have done, and we probably would have got better quality. Just like Manny and Mayweather. It like you said, Upper. It cooked too long. It cooked too long.
Just like I feel like the Floyd and Manny cooked a little too long, but
Yep. Facts.
it could have did about five. It could have did about 5 million. But but see, people got tired of the Terrence and Earl situation. They have been waiting on it since Black Fight Fan and them pushed it. Shout out to Black Fight Fan. They pushed this. They pushed that fight really because people forget we wasn't calling for Terrence Crawford and Earl back in 2017. Because from 2015 to 2017, we were calling for Earl and Keith Thurman. We was calling for one time and Earl to get in there. And I still was calling for it. And it probably would have did more than what Earl did, honestly. Because Keith and Earl, Floyd got
Sorry,
that.
one more time. One more time. What went wrong in the first negotiations is that.
Let me finish real quick, Coach.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Keith and Earl, they had history. Floyd had already put that out there, and they
Oh
was
yeah.
going. But like I said, when Terrence Crawford pushed the fans back and took that David Avanesian fight, it was like the wind went out the sails of a lot of the dang old fans, and I think a lot of the fans streamed the fight because they was pissed off. But like I know a lot of people that did, and I was telling them nah, but they was like nah, he played too many games, so you know. Hey, go ahead, Coach.
Speaking of the cells, the wind out of the cells.
Coach Amber,
Where
Coach Amber, your mic is going out. I think everybody mute and let Coach Amber, I think that's what's happening. So I'm gonna mute. Go ahead, Coach.
the first go around, I think what went wrong was Bud didn't have the proper representation around him. Like basically he wanted Al to explain everything to him, but not being signed with Al. And I mean, think about it. As a business person, like, why am I going to give you advice if you're not signed to me? Like, you want my services for free, like a consultant or a lawyer. I mean, unless we family, why would I do your homework for you, but you want it for free? I think that's what broke down in the first negotiation.
I can agree with that. I see where you're going with that. Because at the same time, during that time, if we all recall too, um, he had just gotten out of or that lawsuit with Top Rank. I think that lawsuit with Top Rank kind of tainted, and I'm not trying to give excuses here, but I'm being empathetic, putting myself in another person's shoes. I think everything that went on with Top Rank with Bud kind of slighted his judgment and his trust with a lot of other promoters. You get what I'm saying? I think it was just he was just wanting to be overly involved, and there's
I
nothing
don't
wrong
know
with
why.
that.
I
But
don't know why, because he got over on Top Ranking in that deal. Like, but that's why he dropped the lawsuit. He the one that got over on him.
Bomat got over on that deal,
that was
but
what
what
I'm
else?
Yeah, well, they
saying. But
got
I mean,
over,
I'm
so I
just
don't know why
saying.
he was tripping. They got
But
over.
but I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to just put the pieces together. I think that they just wanted to be overly involved, and there's nothing wrong with that. And to see, and not to mention, that was around the same time because how long did Adrian Broner? Y'all know I'm Team AB over here, but I mean, how long was Adrian Broner on his mixtape tour about Al Heyman and Floyd Mayweather? Y'all like a lot. Like I look at timelines and real and see why fighters move the way that they move in. So because I don't like throwing the word duck around so much. You feel me? I feel like it's a code. Everybody catch one. It needs to stop in the sport because a lot of this stuff is politics. And I just felt like Bud had his reservations. I'm not giving excuses. I just feel like Bud had reservations. Yes, he dead at the fight. He assisted and dead in the fight. And to answer Aunt McQueen said that he doesn't blame Bud because of all the stuff that was going on with EJ. But at the same time, if we're going to call balls and strikes, number one, Bud was stripped of the IBF at 140. Everybody seemed to forget that. There was no outcry. You know what I'm saying? So why there is now versus then, IDK. And then number two, yes, Queen. And then number two, Bud at the same time, EJ was still fighting good. He had fought Ugas and all of them. So to be honest with you, the perfect time to fight was during the negotiations last year. I'm gonna just keep it 105. That was the perfect time to fight EJ. And then not to mention, remember around that time with the whole David Avenesian fight, who were rumors that we were hearing about? And this is why I say Bud should be very careful with this, with saying I'm throwing the belt away and nobody can see me, because we call it straight down the middle here. Who was the rumor about Earl Spence? Who was he supposed to fight? Remember, the rumors were rampant with Keith Thurman. So I find it very ironic that he chose to butt out of the negotiations, go to David Avenesian, and then entertain Boots, while Earl is telling him, yo, I'm waiting for you. We know that, but Earl has said that prior to, you know what I'm saying, prior to the David Avenesian fight and afterwards. EJ said, yo, Bud, I'm waiting for you. But the media, certain media places were saying, oh, Earl and Keith Thurman. So Bud was like, yo, okay, I'm going to fight. He had options. I'm going to fight David. I'm going to fight Boots. Oh, now you want to fight? Okay, I'll fight. But he let himself get in the ring and fight. But he starved out EJ. You see how that go? So we got to call it how we see it. Like, that's just all I'm saying. Like, I'm not calling Bud a duck. I'm not calling Boots a duck. But I just want to point out motives. You know what I'm saying? I want to point out all of that to get y'all thinking like, yo, at the end of the day, Bud did his thing with how he played that whole situation, but he also in the end killed that fight. Go ahead, y'all.
You tell us the rotation.
Go ahead, Coach Amber, because I know you wanted to get in there. So go ahead, Coach. First, we'll go Bullet. Go ahead, Bullet. What you say?
I was gonna say, it was unfortunate, but on some real talk, like just to keep it a stat. If Earl would have never got hurt, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, it ain't like you can't really blame nobody for it. But if Earl never gotten hurt before, the fight would have been happened. But within the timeline of when it actually could happen, it definitely was Bud's fault, you know, because Bud pulled away and things of that nature. But if Earl never gotten hurt, like he never, you know,
y'all hear me?
Straight away from boxing. What'd you say?
Because y'all not hear me a few minutes ago.
No,
nah,
I have been trying to talk for like a minute. Okay, go ahead. I finish, Bullet. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if Earl, you know, would have stayed focused on boxing and, you know, didn't go clubbing and stuff like that, the fight would have been happening.
But we're not gonna do that.
No. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. Because like I said,
that man
I'm telling you.
on boxing. That man was focused on boxing, but we're not gonna do that. That man
he was. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying it's unfortunate.
That accident had nothing to do with going to clubs and everything. That accident had stuff to do with stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing, but he was focused on boxing. When Earl he tightened up, and that man after his accident, he was focused on boxing. The man stopped drinking like that and going to clubs. But what it was is Terrence, like Xenia said, Terrence Crawford and them had a strategy. He already said at that meeting, when we fight, they're gonna say that you was too big for the weight and we weight drained you. He already told them what it was. The man felt on Earl's body and seen what he had to work with. And they know Earl has been in that division for long. People don't stay in the division 10 years unless you Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and that's your real weight. But he knew Earl came in the game at 153. Earl already came in bigger than a welterweight. So Earl has to crush down to make that weight. And he seen Earl was a little bit smaller at the Ugas fight. So you know just how we seen how Devin looked at the Cambosos fight and the Loma fight. Well, you didn't see the Loma fight because it was private. But you can tell when a fighter is getting close to his problems, like Regis, he's close to his too. But he knew Earl was close, and he didn't want to catch Earl coming off that Ugas fight, which would have made the most money for them. And Earl, he didn't realize was coming off a 16-month layoff, and this is for people that ever boxed or trained. when you hit a certain age, like in the 30s, your body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. And if you've been inactive for over a year, that's going to hurt you. When you hit the age of 30, around that, you start putting knee braces and stuff on. You can't play full court basketball like that because your body pays for it the next day. And Earl don't realize, I mean, well, people didn't realize, but Earl has to cut weight to make weight. And
Upper, you went
I think
out.
he went out. Yeah.
Upper, you went out.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're saying something,
So, okay, all right, I got it fixed. So,
okay.
when you lose weight like that, it puts a strain on your body because, like you said, when you cutting weight, your body is 70% water, and to make weight, you have to cut about 20 to 30% of water weight. You got to keep 20 to 30% of your water in your system. That's why when people make that weight, they rush them to the scale, and then they try to hurry up and hydrate because with your body and it's past dehydration. Weight cutting is very, very dangerous. Virgil Ortiz, I'm glad he's at 154 now, but he'll tell you cutting weight is a very dangerous thing, especially when you cut weight like that. You're taking water off your brain, off your muscles, off your vitals, like your kidneys, your liver, all of that. So Earl, as you get older, it's harder. And that's what Bud did. He made that man make another 16 months. And age caught up with him. But in the instance with that, right? It took him a minute to get started in the Ugas fight. He even told you. But Earl was already close to that weight. So if him and Bud would have did that, he could have stayed low and kept training. Bud knew that. And Earl, he was dumbing his own self because his arrogance. And they say after pride comes the fall. And Earl fell after the pride, talking about no tune-ups. I'm not gonna do this and that. See, he should have took a fight in between so he could have got his body back down there. Because coming off a training camp, you get sharp. And Bud's smart. He took that David Avanesian fight. They knocked the ring rust off because he was a year out the ring, and then went right into the Earl fight. So he's coming off a fight in a training camp, going back into another training camp. That's why Canelo fights twice a year to keep himself sharp, and most boxers do that. When you when you're young and you fighting 4 or 5 times, you getting sharper each time, and that's what practice and repetitiveness does for you. And Earl gave himself a great disservice by not fighting Keith Thurman, which I felt like would have been a huge fight. Everybody been wanting to see that fight right there. And he would have been in much better shape for Bud because his body would have been done, got the shook the rust off of him. So Bud came in there with the advantage, and like he said, they said they're gonna say we weight drained you, and that's what happened.
Well, the thing, and then we also forget too that it was Bomac and Bernie the boxer. That's why I said, man, like, man, you got to watch these timelines and you got to watch what's being said. I know some of y'all don't like to pay attention to interviews, like it's about the actions of the fighters, but no, a lot of them tell on themselves. That's why I'm able to look through the middle and just we keep it 105 here because we
The
listen to all of this.
action.
But Bernie and Bomac is on record saying they studied this man for 5 years. What was happening 5 years ago? Oh, I don't know. The negotiations. They've been watching Earl. And yes, Earl did do himself a disservice by not fighting Keith Thurman when those rumors were circulating. But I get it. Earl is a dog. He wants to fight. He wants what he wants. I think that Earl kept his eye focused on the belts too much. Hence why I feel as though sometimes belts don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to walk into something and get an upset. Well, it wasn't an upset because Bud was always favored to win. But hell, the odds was close up until fight night. The odds was close. It wasn't no 3-1, 4-1. The odds were close. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, that man was studying Earl for 5 years. Earl, what he didn't do himself a service by saying that, he wants to move up. He's only fighting a year. People, this is a competition. You know what I'm saying? So you don't think these boxers, not only do they watch YouTube channels, but they watch other fighters. They see how many times you're fighting. They see when you're doing those Showtime specials or those Top Rank specials. They see what you're eating. They look at things like that. They see how you pivot. They look at how quick you close the distance. They are studying y'all. They're studying other boxers. And Earl, unfortunately, was ripe for the picking. And I stand on that. He was a bull's eye for Bud Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely agree with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather said in an interview a couple months ago that he would have liked them to fight at 160 or 168. But he wasn't the only one that said that. Upper also said it. He said this last, a few months ago before the fight happened that, Earl should really be fighting at those top weight classes. You know what I'm saying? He's killing himself to make 147. So Earl was right for the picking. Go ahead, Queen.
And see, key people forget that I'm the one that said that before the fight. I sat there and said Earl is not doing himself the service, and I told people that Earl's power and his skill is being diminished. Still fighting at 147 because I seen it in the Garcia and the Ugas fight. Even though he did well, I seen that he's been slowing down because he's putting himself in a bottle, just like Broly when he had that thing on his neck. Broly was super strong, but he had a thing reigning in his power. That means he could only use a certain percentage of his power, and that's where Earl was. But people thought I was crazy for saying that, but we see what happened. But like I said, we see a better showing at 154, even though it's only like 160 would be great for Earl, but 154 would be a lot better though. And
Go ahead.
before you get started, let me do one thing for my guy real quick, Black All Day, because he sent the super chat. Black All Day, what Regis is gonna have to do? Regis is gonna have to get on his front foot. He's gonna have to press Devin. He can't let Devin sit back and get into rhythm with that jab. He's gonna have to try to slip, and he's gonna have to get Devin body. He's gonna have to make it uncomfortable for Devin, and he's gonna have to corner him and try to give him with some good shots. And while Devin's shooting that right, his jab is decent, but he pulls it back slow. When he comes with that paw and jab, that's when Regis need to make the move, and he needs to set traps and try to get Devin going back. When you get Devin going back, he's not as confident. He's not as good. Brock Howard salute King. That's the best way Regis got right there, and just pressure him. Get up close on Devin. Make Devin fight inside because Devin's not an inside fighter. I mean, he did a little decent against Loma, but Regis is an excellent inside fighter with great head movement on the inside, and he got vicious power. So try to exert your will, and if you say Devin's punches is pillow and you're going to walk through him, then walk through him, get inside there and touch him up. Touch him up early and often because Devin's going to be he's not going to be his greatest because, like I said, he's having problems making 140 as well. Until Devin get around 147, he's going to be kind of drained in these fights. So you're not going to be getting the best Devin. You're going to get a better version of 135, but Regis need to take advantage of it. But Regis is also near that wall, too, that me and Zenith was just talking about. Regis been at 140 for his career, and it's hard for him to make weight as well, especially with him being 33, 35 years old.
To piggyback, that was a great analysis, Upper. To piggyback off that, and then I'm gonna get Coach Amber in here to finish up the Bud conversation. I know she got something to say, but to piggyback off that, if we go back and look at Regis' last fight, because you're only as good as your last fight. If you go to either the second or the third round, I forget which one it was, where Regis got the knockdown on Zorilla. If you look at that, when he got the knockdown on him, of course the ref did the count, and then when it was time to go in to kill, and this is what we talked about a few days ago, Upper and I, about finishing your plate, being disciplined in that ring to finish your food, finish them off. What happened? Regis went to him while Zorilla was up against the ropes, and he was trying to get him up out of there, but he gassed. He stopped, he took a step back, and to be honest with you, that fight went on longer than it should have. You know what I'm saying? And then Zorilla, what was he able to do? Regroup, recoup, and start dancing around the ring again, boxing him on the outside, and limiting the times when Regis was supposed to go inside. Regis has to not gas. That's one of my main points with him. But he needs to go to 147 to be 100% honest with y'all. Like Upper said, he's been at that way too long. He needs to not gas, and if he was to catch Devin, he needs to make it count. You know what I'm saying? Don't let Devin clinch. You know what I'm saying? Wrestle your way up out of there like Bud did Earl. You know what I'm saying? Bud was able to push Earl back, if y'all recall. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to have to not let Devin clinch as much because, y'all make fun of Devin clinching, but that's actually a great tactic because you're able to see if the opponent is tired. You wear the opponent down when you're clinching, when you're grabbing. So I don't laugh at Devin clinching. That's a good tactic to keep that person from gaining that momentum. He should not let Devin do that. Wiggle up out of there and start catching him. And Upper is definitely right. He has a hard problem fighting on the inside and with that left. And Regis' power hand, if I'm not mistaken, is in his left. So he needs to catch Devin as Devin is going forward, just like he caught Zorilla. And he was able to walk away, but Regis wasn't able to finish him off because he gassed out. So I'm just adding that to everything that Upper said. But go ahead, Coach Amber.
I told you I wasn't getting dragged into that.
No, I'm not talking about that. I said for the Bud Crawford and
Oh, I know you wasn't Coach Amber. He was just asking me what could I'm not saying Regis is gonna beat them. He was like, what could Regis do to win the fight? He was asking for the keys to victory, and I was
Not
telling you what he could do to beat them. Salute Rick Timms.
go ahead, Coach Amber.
I mean, if you want to talk about the IBF, they're the most consistent. They truly are. And the IBF is the only one that has a 10-pound rehydration clause.
Yep, next day rehydration clause. That's why I respect them so much. And see, that's why you see certain fighters don't go for it. Like Devin and Shakur, they don't go for IBF. But once you have another belt, then that rehydration clause doesn't matter.
American made. Yep, that is an American company. Like, they're really fair, they're really consistent. That's why it didn't surprise me when they did what they did. And from what I understand, if it's a unification, the IBF. See, this is why I don't want to give away free game. If it's a unification, it can be, how do you say, petitioned, where
That's why people get another belt before they get the IBF. I know what you're saying, Coach.
it could be petitioned where it can be waived. But if you get the IBF belt and you're defending the IBF belt, there's a 10-pound weight loss.
Yeah, that's
And
what I said. That's why I said people wait to get the IBF.
Mm-hmm. And
I said they wait to get the IBF because they can't make that 10-pound rehydration.
And what was the first belt that Earl Spence got?
The IBF against Kell Brook. Kell Brook.
And defended it until he unified.
But they call him a weight bully though, Coach Amber. They call him a weight bully though, Coach Amber. But they forget he had a 10-pound weight clause until he fought Sean Porter.
Well, hell, if they say it, it must be true, right?
Yep, exactly.
I can say the sky's purple. It must be true, right?
No, and I agree. I think that when it comes to these belts and everything, I just think that Earl was too focused. I'm proud of what he did. I do agree with Zenith in the chat. He said at 2022, that's when Earl should have wrapped it up with 140. I absolutely agree. I get what he was trying to do, what history he was trying to make. We don't know his body, only he does. Maybe he felt like he was good to go. Earl haven't given any excuses, so I'm not. I guess there's a lot of people on the inside that know pretty much what happened with Earl and how he lost that fight. To be honest with you, I would pray and hope that Earl would get in there with somebody before he fight Bud, but I know he don't want to mess up that check because that's a big money fight on the line. That's why I don't blame Bud for going with Earl over Boots. It was a business decision, and I don't think that neither one of them ducked, you know what I'm saying, for that. I do wish that Earl would have possibly gotten in a fight or two or I mean, a fight before he would have fought Boots. But who's to know? I think that he was done with that weight, y'all. I think he's done with 147, and I just hope that and you know what though? Now that Bud has gotten stripped of the IBF, I would want Bud to relinquish all the titles in a graceful manner. I
That
know
way,
that's
Boost can go ahead and clean up and come to 147 and 154.
yeah, I would want Bud to relinquish the titles because he's not trying to fight at 147 anymore. I mean, he's been saying that for the past 2 months. He's done with it. But I know you need leverage. I guess people are using the belt excuse for leverage in other fights.
Devin Haney.
Yeah, I guess people are using but I feel as though if you already made
Billionaire
history,
boxer, salute, King. Peace and blessings. Glad to see you here. Sorry, Key. I ain't seen him in a long time.
it's okay. I feel as though if you've already made history, you're coming off a 650 pay-per-view, put the belts down, bud. Like, you ain't got nothing else to prove. Everybody has you as the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Go up and fight somebody else and let the belts go. That's how I feel. You're not fighting at 147 anymore. Let them go, and give an olive branch to the fighters coming beneath you. You know what I'm saying? That's under you. Just because you don't like the way the system, the establishment did you, don't mean you got to do that with the other fighters that's at that weight. But go ahead, you guys.
Just because I had it hard doesn't mean you need to have it hard.
Exactly. Bullet, you got anything to cook on that, King?
Um, it's nah. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Hey, I had somebody ask me like, "Oh, well, if Spence would have won, would they have treated him the same way?" Honestly, I think if Spence would have won, he would have dropped them all because he told us he would have went to 154. Like he would have won them and dropped them, and
Yeah.
they would not have had to strip him. Won him, drop him. I mean, isn't that what Bud did too at 140?
Yeah, but I think to go off your point, I think that if EJ would have won with the belts, to be honest with you, I think they would have stripped him too because he the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm looking at IBF, if I'm from the IBF team, it's like, bro, you didn't have this belt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you defended it in the past, but come on, man, this has been going on. I think they would have done the same thing to EJ. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it would have mattered because of the IBF don't get down like that.
You talk
That,
about
point,
stripping
that's the point.
EJ Key.
That's the point. They wouldn't have had to strip EJ. I think EJ would have just won him and dropped him and been like, "I'm going up to
Yeah.
154," because he told
EJ would
us
just drop the belt.
before his last fight at 147. So they wouldn't have had
Yeah,
to
that
strip
was
him.
his. He said whatever. That was his last fight at 147. But anyway, if Spence did have the belts, Key, they would have stripped him anyway because they sat there and said they already told him before they even make a rematch that Boots was getting that belt. Bozy already let it out because the IBF was gracious enough to let them have Undisputed. They went ahead and let him have Undisputed, but the Undisputed champion was going to have to fight Boots or the IBF was stripping him. That was mandated. So I already knew Bud was about to get stripped. That's why they gave Boots that interim belt. And IBF has only given that interim belt out one time in history. They only given it out one other time. And Boots is the second person to ever be the IBF intern. So they was letting you know that if they didn't make the fight, Boots was gonna be the champ.
And yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that they would have done it to EJ regardless because of how the IBF plays around. You know what I'm saying? They don't play. I think that they're pretty much the most consistent, at least.
Salute
Um,
D1.
but I think, hey D1, what's
Hold
up?
on hold on one more second, kid. I'm about to let you go for a second. I gotta switch my device. But Aunt McQueen, you right. You said it's possible you keep yourself between fights. B Hop is damn near 60 with 20-inch weights. But you also gotta remember, Aunt McQueen, what division did B Hop start at? You got to also remember that Earl started at 152, went down to 147. So as your age progressed, it don't matter how much you keep yourself in shape, you're not gonna be able to keep yourself down. You see, Shakur stayed in shape. He stayed in the gym, but you see, he had to come up from 126 when he got bigger, and then he had to come up from 130. Your body, Father Time is undefeated for one. Earl Spence had to cut down to make it to welterweight, period. And he's been in there over 12 years. Boxers move up divisions because your body grows no matter how much you stay in the gym. No matter how much you work out, your body's going to grow. A 28-inch waist, yes, that's great. But still, his bone mass and his body mass still equated a higher value. Yeah, son. It still got a higher value. That's why he had to go up a couple weights. That's why he went up to 168. That's why he went up to light heavyweight. And yes, you can have a 28-inch waist at light heavyweight. Bernard Hopkins is not the same as when he was when he first came into the game. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to move up eventually. Earl Spence was killing himself to make that weight. I mean, that shows his determination because his body had to be under 20% water when he dehydrated to make that weight. And when you take too much water out your body when you making weight, it's hard to recover from. That's why if we looked at the fight, Bud was a bigger man in the fight. Plus, Earl only looked like he was 5 pounds heavier than the weigh-in because your body won't take. It'll push it out. That's just like when people take crash diets. Even when they take a crash diet and their body crashes, they can eat whatever the hell they want to. You still got to rush to the hospital because your body is going to reject the nutrients. It will reject and push it out as waste. All right, go ahead, Key. I'm about to switch.
Go ahead, Coach Amber, because I think when you unmute Coach Amber, it rubs off on our mics and it makes a distorted noise. So go ahead and cook, Coach Amber.
Where we at as far as we're talking about weight cut? Yeah, EJ stayed there way too long. And you know what? That's his ego. That's his ego. Because EJ, he competed at the amateurs at 156. 156. 147. He's what? 30 something years old?
33.
32. Okay.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Emperor of the Light Skins, my boy A1 Hoop Zone.
Women in the chat. This is why women are important. Women that got sons. Anybody got teenage boys? How much they weigh?
Hell, I was 140 when I was a teenager because we had to be up under the 150 limit.
Boys, how much?
Hold on, Upper, mute your mic, and then I'm gonna mute mine because Coach
Amber, are you on the Android, Coach Amber? They just sent me a thing, Key, that said people on the Android right now, they got a bug and it's making the mic do that. That's what it said. But yeah, I'm about to switch my device. Hold on. Shout out to A1 Hoop Zone with the $10 holler. He said, hold up. He said, hold up. Don't switch devices. Y'all got to announce me as the Emperor of the Light-Skinned Kinfolk. Omega Red got to see me if he wants that title in his Light-Skinned Kinfolk Association. I already did it, homie. But all right.
Go ahead, Coach Amber. You were speaking on the weights for 140 and everything.
I ain't win 140 since 6th grade. 147 for a grown ass man in the 30s. That's crazy. That's crazy. I feel like Spence ego, he held on too long, trying to get that last piece. And I mean, you know what? He's a grown ass man, and that's on him. And it sucks. And I'm a Spence fan that we all had to see that. But the fact that Terrence Bud Crawford got stripped, I think they're gonna do it at 154.
So who would you guys want to see moving forward? Who would you, because okay, let's analyze the big fights, right? So we obviously know that Earl Spence and Bud is gonna have the rematch next year sometime, presumably. I don't think that it's coming in January or February like some people are reporting. I feel like we'll be getting more energy towards that right now, just to get people, interested, to pique their interest right now. I feel as though that's something that'll happen like in the summer or the fall. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, but I wouldn't be surprised when it happened. Um, so after this, when this is done, it's apparently clear that Bud is looking at big fights. He's going after the Canelo. Depending on how Jamal performs, after this upcoming in 2 weeks, and then his fight, because I truly believe that Jamal is gonna take on Caleb Plant too. I just had this feeling. So Jamal could be in the running for that, since he doesn't want to fight Jamel. Um, I'm just trying to figure out who would be the big fights, because I heard some people in the chat, not this chat, but others, that were saying Tim Tszyu. Bud would demolish Tim Tszyu. That's not even a competition, in my opinion. I like Tim Tszyu. I think he's a great fighter, but that ain't no competition. And Tim Tszyu is trying to get to America. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even trying to fight in Australia anymore. So I don't see that being too big. The only ones would be like a Jamal, depending on how he redeems himself. We got to see how he's looking. And he wants Canelo. What other big fights is there besides Spence, like, that you guys can see? Because I don't see Canelo saying yes to Bud. I just truly, it has nothing to do with him being a threat. It's just like, again, Bud set that precedence. If who are you, Boots? And I feel like Canelo is gonna be like, who are you, Crawford? Go ahead.
With PBC.
You said what?
If Bud resigned with PBC, 2-fight deal, beat Tim Tszyu. Well, I think you would. But and then another option. Bud's thing is he doesn't like PBC. He does, but he doesn't. If he were to resign for a 2-fight deal, if I was Bud, I'd be like, yo, I fight Tim, and then give me your next. But the thing is, who would the next be?
Well, he said that he only has 2 to 3 fights left. And we can't just keep this focused on Bud. We also got to think about Spence too. Because in my humble opinion, I think Spence only got a couple fights left up out of him. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. And y'all know I'm team Spence, man down all day. But I mean, we gotta keep it 105. Bud 36, Spence 33, about to be 34 soon. Um, they only got a couple fights left. You know what I'm saying? Both of them going to the Hall of Fame. It's really about money at this point. So what does that look like outside of each other? After they have the rematch, then what? Because I think that we put so much expectations, and a lot, Spence, he did a lot in the 147 division. He practically cleared that division out with taking everybody belt. You know what I'm saying? You lined him up, he knocked him down pretty much. And so there was a lot put on him, and I think he put that on himself and the things that he was saying and doing, to where now we see the ramifications of it. He can't make the weight no more. So now what does that look like moving forward? What does, who does Spence even fight? Because we can't forget the elephant in the room. There was a time when they were calling for Spence versus Canelo. So I feel as though Bud has every right to call for Canelo, because y'all wanted Spence to fight him. Why can't I fight him? So I get the logic there. But what else is there left? Because when you're moving up towards 154 and to 168 territory, the money man is Canelo. Ain't nobody else bringing in money like that. they keep that they for some there's not too much push behind Benavidez. I mean there is, but it's not, and I feel as though that's a disservice because Benavidez is a good fighter. David Morrell still got he's still wet behind the ears a little bit. So who else? Who else? What did you say, Coach?
I was saying,
I think the coach is having some technical issues. Upper, can you hear me? Well, then I'll just go to the chat and tell everybody. Zena, if I do agree with that, Canelo gets nothing beaten. But to be honest, I do. I agree with that. Um, D1 says, shout out to D1. There's nothing in it for the biggest star in boxing, Canelo, to fight Bud Crawford, so they can say he beat him up. Another little guy, never happened. I get that. Yeah, Coach Amber, I think it's your Bluetooth, Queen. I think you gotta turn your Bluetooth off. Um, but I mean, Cash Crypto, that's another one too. It could be a trilogy because what if Spence come back and win the next one? If there is a trilogy, I feel as though if the fight is at 154, then the trilogy should happen at 160, 168. Because I think that Spence should have been pushing for that. I don't know why they didn't have that in the rematch clause. I wonder how specific that rematch clause was, y'all. I really do. Because Bud has been giving some pushback with that.
can you hear me, Key?
I can now. I'm a mute so that our mics aren't rubbing. Go ahead, Coach.
Damn. Okay. It's my understanding that the winner was supposed to pick the weight class, but if they physically can't make it, honestly, I think Al Heyman got Bud. I think they didn't read all the way through, and I think that's why it's going up to 154, and I think that's why Bud got stripped. Personally. But I mean, it'll all come out in the wash. But I think that's why they stripped him. Because think about it. Why did they strip Dev? Because he was going up to fight somebody else. All right, cool. Charlo, same thing. Moving up a weight class, strip you. Undisputed, undisputed. I think that's why. I think that he let them know that, like, hey, I'm moving up to fight. And they were like, okay, cool. We're going to elevate the next one. I think that's where that came from. And I can't believe.
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm back.
Wait up and finish your thought. Devin.
Coach Amber, it's your mic. You see what I just sent you, Key? That's what they were saying about the microphones. But
Okay.
yeah, they were saying that it's a problem on StreamYard for Android users right now. But yeah, they put it, Al Heyman gonna take care of Spence. And Al Heyman, he had it in there. That's why Spence knew the fight was gonna be there. Like if they couldn't both make the weight physically, then it was gonna go to 154. That's why Earl wasn't tripping about the fight, right? About the weight. But everybody, I just dropped the link in the chat. The Upper Echelon Man. If you're not subscribed to it, go ahead and subscribe to it, please. I appreciate all y'all. Me and Key also go live at nighttime. We missed it a few nights, but we go live at nighttime and we talk about real life situations on high valued men and high valued women, high valued men and high valued women. And we talk about what's going on in life and everything right there. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe there. It's a lot of great conversations on that as well. But yeah, Al Hammond knew what he was doing, and appreciate that, Ray Davis. Appreciate that, King. But yeah, the fight right there with Earl and Bud, like I said, nobody ducked boots. It was going down anyway. Spence, he already knew he was going up. He said Bud was the last person he was fighting at 147, and it was going to be a one-off. But like I said, it took Teach, you crazy as hell. You think Fundora stopping Spence? You said Fundora stopping Spence. Spence gonna break that man insides.
Y'all be saying anything.
You sound like a casual saying that. I hope you trolling, bro. I hope you trolling because I don't know why y'all keep thinking that Earl is some kind of. Take this back. Check this out, people. Y'all see this man at his worst versus Bud at his best. Now you about to see Earl at his best. The man was taking shots and Bud couldn't finish him off. It was a referee stopped it. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Earl should have never been in that fight. Rolly Romero could have beat Earl that night. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Earl is gonna do his thing on this next fight. Y'all forget before the fight started. Y'all remember everybody was cheering for Spence. Bud didn't have many people in the fan space. And Teach, you cheer for Munguia and Fundora. Munguia, with all them 40 wins, only fought 2 people that got a name. And them 2 people right there wasn't even great. He ducked Charlo. And Jaime Munguia, he's garbage. He's trash. He's a front foot fighter that's not even athletic. Like the man, all he does is throw bunches and bunches of punches. And he just comes forward. He has no head movement. And he just lost his last fight, really. Him and Triple G both lost to Sergey Deverenchenko. Sergey Deverenchenko beat the hell out of that man, just like he beat Triple G. So yeah, take that loss with it, buddy. Ray Davis says, Danny Garcia rematch with Earl or fight with Bud. Been trying to get Bud since 140. Yeah. But you know who else was supposed to get Bud at 140? Bud was supposed to fight Regis at 140, but Bud moved up. But he was supposed to fight Regis. Matter of fact, Regis was first supposed to fight Damn, I forgot the dude's name. What's the dude's name that Bud knocked out to win the championship? The African. Ndongo. Ndongo. Regis was technically supposed to fight Ndongo. He was Ndongo mandatory. But unifications trump mandatories. So Bud was able to get the Ndongo fight and become undisputed. Sergey Lipinets was also Bud's mandatory, but Bud moved up. But yeah.
Yep. Fact. And OTB, you said, what'd you say, King? You said, dang, what is that? Oh, they stripped him because they make more off of a championship fight than they do off of an undisputed section of fees. Let me tell you something. Fees is fees. It's 12%. Now some management can get those fees reduced. That's what Canelo does. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of boxers do. They can get those fees reduced. So I don't necessarily think it's that. I just think that the IBF has been tired of these negotiations been going on and they've been holding up the division.
Yeah, the sanctioning bodies don't get paid. Oh, go ahead. I thought you was finished. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's not an excuse. Go ahead, Upper.
Sanctioning bodies don't get paid unless you fight. And when you undisputed, you paying off 12%. But it's 3% per belt, but you paying off 12%. And I'm gonna say yes, Teach, he did lose to Sergey Deverenchenko handily. Triple G did too. But Oscar De La Hoya had Jaime Munguia as the A side. So he wasn't gonna let Jaime Munguia leave. But Jaime Munguia was supposed to fight Jermell Charlo. He ducked that. He was supposed to fight Jamal Charlo. He ducked that. Jared Hurd even wanted to fight him. He could have probably beat Jared Hurd because Jared Hurd is a shell of himself. But yeah, and Fundora just got folded by Brian Mendoza, and he was losing to Lubin, but Lubin fought crazy and got stopped with his corner stopped the fight. But yeah, Fundora getting the ring with Spence, he won't go more than 5 rounds. Spence would have been broke him down with body shots. His midsection is too little. Plus, he fights on the inside. You cannot fight inside with Earl Spence, especially at 154. He's gonna be a lot stronger. Fundora don't last but a few rounds. So yeah, we're not gonna sit there and play that game, Teach. I mean, I know you like your people, but them people garbage. Yeah, Frequent Flyer. Deverenchenko beat Triple G and Jaime Munguia, but he was the B side. So the B side never gets to win. The only person that ever the only person I think that beat Sergey Derenchenko real handedly was Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo fought that man and beat on that man. And that's the only fight Sergey ever really got his ass whooped, honestly. Because against the other champions like Triple G and Jaime Munguia, he showed up and showed out on them, but got robbed. Oh, yes, Ray Davis. Yes, he was trying to get EJ stripped twice in 10-22, and I believe Bozy and them, they had EJ on the clock 3 times. And people forget that EJ was on the clock like 3 times. And then finally EJ said, I don't give a damn. But the IBF ain't stupid. Like I said, the sanctioning bodies get paid when you fight. And Earl should have been stripped of the IBF because Bozy and Boots kept putting in petitions. But the IBF was not about to strip that man until after they had their undisputed fight because they knew that was supposed to be the biggest boxing match in the sports. And so they knew they was about to get a cut. Yeah, it's okay to have Boots be a champion, but at the time, he's not the money bearer. He's not the one that's going to make sure you riding high and feeling good. No, he's not. But go ahead, Key.
Yeah, and Ray Davis, I don't know when you got in, but me and Upper had cooked on that already. That Earl, you know what I'm saying? He had a lot of stuff that was going on, which held up that IBF belt, and that Boots was petitioning for that because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Boots was also he was, what was it, the WBO Upper that he was on, and then he switched over to the IBF, but it was because I'm not trying to I'm not trying to start nothing with the Bud Yardigans, but Bud don't fight his mandatories. David Avenesian wasn't even his mandatory; that was a voluntary.
Yeah,
And
they
Earl,
moved David Evanesian into the top 10 to fight him.
yeah,
He
and
was, he
Earl
was
does.
outside.
Yeah, and Earl does. So that was a
Yeah.
big decision that Bozy did. It's not ducking. It's like, yo, I need a belt. Bud ain't finna. Bud didn't. I don't want the Bud Yardigans mad at me,
And
so I'm
you
gonna
know what's crazy?
be quiet.
There was
Upper.
no reason for Bud to even fight David Evanesian. You know why? Because Bud knocked out Mean Machine. Mean Machine knocked out David Evanesian. Why are you fighting your food's food? Like, Mean Machine destroyed David Evanesian. So why are you even entertaining that fight? But, that's a grown man. If he wants to fight him, let him. But
Yeah, I didn't have no qualms with it. I already knew the play, you know what I'm saying? But I also knew then when that was announced that Bud just helped kill that fight for Spence and Crawford. Like that, they should have had that fight last year. And I'm gonna stand on that. I think but again, Bud or Boots, they didn't duck each other, and I don't get into those narratives. Go ahead.
OTB, Jamal Charlo did beat him before those two guys, so you can't really say that. He did beat him before Jaime Munguia, so I forgot OTB don't like PBC fighters though, so But yeah, so Jamal Charlo did beat Sergey Derenchenko, and Sergey Derenchenko was just getting into his prime, really.
Yes,
Yeah,
Cash Crypto. I have names for everybody. Okay. I got the Devengers. I'm the first one that said the Devengers, a symbol for Devin.
I
I got
call him the Devin Haynites.
Yep, he calls them Devin Hey Nights. I call them the Devengers, and because I don't like the Bud Buddies like that. That's kind of, I didn't like that. So I
I
call them
call
the
them,
Buddies.
I call them the Badussis.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just call them the Bud Yardigans because when they come, they coming, boy. Like
Nah, I don't call them all that, but the ones that be calling people Earl sexuals, I call them Badussis.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much with the Bud thing. If y'all want to go back, I see some people coming in. Go back and rewind. We break down the timelines. As y'all know, we call it straight down the middle over here. We don't get into narrative. Bud then
Brian Keys talk about buttercups.
oh my God, I'm not disrespecting them like that. No. Cause Bud is a good fighter now. Y'all better put some respect on Bud name. Bud that one though. I just have it with Boots. That's a 50-50 fight. I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Yes.
I do know one thing that I do know that with Boots is while everybody is making fun of him saying, "Oh, he not the boogeyman. He should be doing this." What I do know for a fact is that Espinoza is trying to pay people boxers over the
Extra.
asking price to fight Boots, and they turning them down. That's
And
a
you
fact.
see, and I want to say something about that right there. Cody Crowley, when he beat Abakarov and should have been the number one mandatory for Earl, he only got 275,000 for beating the number one ranked Abakarov. And Abakarov was Earl's mandatory. That was Earl's mandatory right there, Abakarov, after the Ocampo. It was Abakarov. And people said Earl didn't fight his mandatories. Well, Abakarov was his mandatory, and Cody Crowley took his ass out. And it's crazy because they didn't make Cody Crowley mandatory. They moved him. He just moved up to like 5 or 6 after he did that. And Boots jumped up there. But Cody Crowley was supposed to fight Boots last year. And they were supposed to be on Tank's card. Because, he was supposed to fight him. Crowley said he wanted $7 million. That man, they said they ain't got $7 million for him. So Boots ended up fighting Karen Kukadajian on that card coming up. And so that's where all that came from. Like if Boots could have got that man on that Tank card. Oh man, that would have did something nice for Boots stock instead of people watching Boots chase this man for 12 rounds because that stunted his growth a little bit, to be honest. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming out here, man, and showing me and my co-host some love. Key, talk in the chat real quick so I can post your link real quick. And if you haven't subscribed to the Upper Echelon Man, make sure y'all subscribe to it right now while we closing out. Y'all not missing nothing. Just to subscribe on it real quick. Click the link, hit the subscribe button, pop back in so Key can do her final message. I'm about to post Key's link as soon as she types something in the chat. Key.
Yeah. Thank you, Upper, for.
I said type something in the chat real quick, Key.
Oh, you want me to type something? Okay.
Yeah, type something in the chat. Okay, I'm about to post Key's link, and y'all make sure y'all subscribe to me and subscribe to my co-host Key. She's about to start dropping videos soon, and it's about to be fire. And ain't nothing like a woman talking that boxing. And there go Key Alexander's right there. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to both of them. Peace and blessings to all y'all, and Key's gonna close it out.
Okay. And two, y'all, Cody Crowley just ducked Boots again a couple weeks ago. They were supposed to be on the Benavidez fight. So stop telling me that this man can give fights and all he got to do is call him out. Boots is not that type of person. He's very low key. He don't get involved into the verbal politics of this game. I respect that about him. I think we need more, people like Boots. But no, they are actively, you guys want to see him with a top 147. It's like who, man? Y'all didn't come on. Like who? they keep ducking this man.
Hell,
So
Keith Thurman wanted $10 million to get in there with him.
exactly. Like, come on, y'all. Like Boots is that man for real. But I want to thank you guys for coming through. Shout out to Aka Flex as always. You always come through, King. Thank you for coming through, Ray Davis. Shout out to you, King. Salute. All things as always. Top supporter. Thank you so much. OTB Boxing is always love. Thank you for coming through, OTB. I was missing you on the panel today or yesterday when we were talking about some things. I know you would have brought that heat. Terrell Davis, shout out to you, King. Brian King B Falcon, shout out to you. Thank you for the compliment. That whole boy, shout out to you. Rick Timms, it's all love. I don't look at you as a Bud Yardigan. Rick Timms is a Bud fan. He's always room for Bud, but Rick Tim calls it straight down the middle like we do when it comes to Bud. But so shout out to Rick Timms, one of the YouTube goats. Crush the legend. Shout out to you, the winning team. Thank you for coming through. Zulu One, happy birthday again. D1, one of my faves, man. Shout out to you, D1. Thank you, King, for coming through. I forgot to shout out to you yesterday. Teach. Shout out to you, Black All Day and A1 Hoop Zones. Thank you guys for the for the cash apps to support Upper's channel. Shout out to Bullet Gibson. Yes, December 9th. Make sure you guys tune in, support the pay-per-view if you cannot make that fight, man, because at the end of the day, I want to see all these kings get paid, you feel me? And solidify their legacy, like for real. So make sure y'all tune in to watch Devin Haney put a work on Regents. I got Devin winning that. Teach, shout out to you for coming through. You said Upper do it for money and get beat up. Shout out to you, Teach. Shout out to you, Teach. The only person I know that got Spence losing to Fandora, child. Lord have mercy. What is this world coming to? Shout out to you, Marquis. Thank you. Salute to Queen Ariana. Thank you for coming through. Bullet Gibson for hopping on the panel. The Queen, Coach Amber. Make sure y'all get that Queen her flowers. When y'all see her, she played a pivotal role, and she continues to play a pivotal role when it comes to female boxing. Gucci, stop. Y'all know my dog is crazy. Shout out to everybody. I think Thomas Hill was in here. Shout out to that king. Shout out to everybody. Billionaire Boxing. Again, shout out to YSM Media who helped me put the timelines together. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to his page. Remember, y'all, show these fighters some support. You know what I'm saying? Every time they walk in the ring, they put their lives at risk. There's no such thing as bum fighters, trash fighters. It's time to stop this narrative. We ain't gotta put one fighter down to uplift another. We ain't gotta do that. We want all these dudes to get paid. So shout out to y'all. Zenith, thank you. I can't wait for your channel. And Upper, as always, thank you for having me on. And shout out to your family and your wife for lending you to us for the past couple hours. This was definitely fun. We'll see y'all next week, man.
They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. Raw Molly got me all up in demon mode. Mouth moving like I done put clean in my nose. Tryna catch me a op, I can leave with some hoes. He standing straight up, watch I make him lean with this pole. Would've thought he was closed, how that heat made him fold. Thought it was a game, he won't think no more.
His brain's gone, nigga.
It be exciting when I get to striking. Guns sound like thunder, hit you like lightning. Fight for your life, we don't do no fighting.
We really hit it, nigga.
We worse than savage, they calling us Vikings. Police be riding, we still be sliding. Told you we hitters, remember the time. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. How about I leave them holding like the Bible? AR-15, that's a high-power rifle. A in the army and assassinate rivals.
Break that shit down, nigga.
AK or anybody kill. Hop out, get the drilling and spilling. 7.62 gon' split 'em. LN, that's for any fuck nigga. You a plug, then I'm pulling up, nigga. You my lunch, eating bullet for dinner.
5.0, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
SK, smoke killer for show. Drum rounds and cripple ops Draco. I got them all, you don't want no.
I got all those shit, nigga.
They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get this leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding.